Ari Spears and Tiffany Haddish are being sued by some victims of a sexual assault when they were children. Now, let me pull up because now this whole bombshell came out. TMZ, like it went big on TMZ, but actually the dailybeast.com is the one who did the original story last week, right? And the headline is comedians Tiffany Haddish and Ari Spears accused of child sexual abuse. So essentially what happened is, and because both of the victims were minors at the time of the incident or incidents, they are allowed to keep their names confidential. So they're going by Jane Doe and John Doe, right? A Jane Doe and her younger brother allege in a new lawsuit that the comics recruited them into performing inappropriate, sexually suggestive acts and sketches when they were minors. The children's mom, I guess, was a comedian, or she was on the comedian circuit. She was on the comic circuit, and her and Tiffany Haddish were coming up together, right? Tiffany Haddish and this lady bonded over shared experiences around divorce and just traumatic life experiences, so I guess they got close. In the course of them getting close, Tiffany Haddish says, hey, I got some acting opportunities for your kids. The kids at the time, 14 and 7 years old. So the mom is like, okay, Tiffany, you're like my best friend. My kids look at you like a godmom. They call you Aunt Tiffany or whatever it is. So the mom allowed Tiffany Haddish to take her kids to go do some acting opportunity, right? So the first incident is with the first sexually involved incident is with the 14-year-old girl, right? So they take the 14-year-old girl, Tiffany Haddish takes the 14-year-old girl to the house with Ari Spears, right? They show the girl, the little kid, a video of two people interacting with a Subway sub in a sexually suggestive way. And by that, I mean, it looks like two people are eating a sub, but instead of eating the sub, they're performing fellatio on a sub, on a Subway sandwich, right? So Tiffany Haddish and Ari Spears are showing this video to this little girl, and that's not the abuse part, which that is like a form of abuse or intimidation, but they're showing her the video because they're trying to show her this is what you need to do. Right? They're telling the little girl, this is how you perform it. You give head. This is how you give oral sex. So the little girl is like, okay, whatever. I don't understand what's going on here. So then after they show the video, then I guess the little girl's not understanding. So then Tiffany Haddish does her own demonstration. I don't know what objects they were using, but then she does a demonstration and tells the little girl, this is how you do it. This is how you hold your hands. This is how you hold your mouth. These are the noises you need to make. They were coaching the little girl on what she should do to act like she's giving head to a man in some type of skit. I don't know what type of skit they was trying to do, but this is what Tiffany Haddish was telling the little girl. The little girl says she never told anybody what happened because she really didn't understand what was going on, and she didn't even know how to explain what was going on. So I guess a year later, when the John Doe is 7, now they take him and the 14-year-old girl to the house, to Ari Spears' house, and they have another skit idea in mind. This time, the skit is about the mind of a pedophile. This time, the 14-year-old girl would not be involved, and everything will be revolving around the 7-year-old boy. They have this little boy in this video, and Tiffany Haddish is acting in this skit, and she's playing like the little boy's mom or guardian or whatever. And she's like, hey, uncle, whatever his name, whatever Ari Spears' name was in the skit. Hey, can I leave my son with you? I got to go do some stuff. I got to go run errands. So then the man, Ari Spears, is like, okay, cool, you can leave it with me. And then pretty much they repeat that cycle of her leaving the boy with Ari Spears. And the way it's going is when she leaves the 7-year-old boy with Ari Spears, then Ari Spears turns on his perv mode. He's looking at the little boy. They start playing R. Kelly's music. My mind's telling me no, but my body, whatever. And the man has holes cut in the newspaper where he's looking at the little boy while the little boy is playing and stuff like that. They say that the boy is doing sexual stuff to like a truck, like he's masturbating a truck or something. I didn't see that part. They have the little boy in his underwear, a little 7-year-old boy in his underwear, rolling around on the floor. You know, they're showing his backside, all this type of stuff. And the Aries Spears character is like looking at him and getting all hot and bothered and all this type of stuff. And then they have a scene where the little boy's in the bathtub. And then Aries Spears like jumps in the bathtub with him. And actually, they didn't even get to finish. The little boy got to the point where Aries Spears, I guess, was like rubbing massage oil on him or something. I didn't see that part either. I didn't watch the whole thing. Once they got to a certain point, I just like, okay, I'm cool. But I guess they got to a point where Aries Spears was actually touching this boy. And I guess the boy like threw a complete fit. Like he started kicking and screaming like he lost his mind up in there. And I'm glad he did, because there's no telling how far they was going to take this thing. But he went crazy in the house. He started kicking and screaming. Like he came down. I guess he called his mom immediately and was crying. Like he called his mom immediately crying. So he didn't wait. He didn't wait for some Me Too movement to come out. He didn't wait 20 years later. He called his mom immediately and said, and I guess he was crying hysterically. They couldn't even understand what he was saying, crying bad, right? So then the mom gets on the phone with Tiffany Haddish, and allegedly Tiffany Haddish just says like, oh, acting is not for him. Like he wouldn't be good in acting. Acting is not for him. They never explained what happened to the little boy. They never told the mom what happened to the little boy, none of that, right? So, and I'm the reason I'm giving so much detail is because the story is so crazy that Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears are now trying to frame it the way they're trying to frame it. Aries Spears actually just put his podcast out today. Today is September 7th. His podcast just went out like last night or today or whatever. And it's like he's delusional. He's not understanding that, bro. We saw the video. Like you can't spin this whole thing to make us believe that somebody is trying to set you up when we saw the video.
Listen, this is an extortion case. This is a shakedown. And I didn't need my lawyer to tell me this, to say this, but I'm going to echo her words. We won't be shaken down. And believe me, it's bothering me not to talk about the skit. I'm not running from anything, and I'm not guilty of anything. It's the reason why I won't turn my mentions off. If you remember back when that Arnold Schwarzenegger skit that we did, Arnold Schwarzenegger is the system. Get back, system. You guys didn't know it at the time, and I couldn't say it at the time, but that's what this is about. That's what this is about. It's a shakedown and extortion. This person has a history of these false accusations.
Tiffany Haddish made a statement on her Instagram, her official Instagram page. I know people have a bunch of questions. I get it. I'm right there with you. Unfortunately, because there's an ongoing legal case, there's very little I can say right now. But clearly, while this sketch was intended to be comedic, it wasn't funny at all. And I deeply regret having agreed to act in it. I really look forward to being able to share a lot more about this situation as soon as I can. Now, here's the key point of this whole thing. I deeply regret having agreed to act in it. That is her way of saying it wasn't my idea. I was just an actor. The problem is, ma'am, Aries Spears didn't know those kids. You brought the kids. This is partly your idea. When Aries Spears told you about this idea, you told him, I got the perfect kids. You remember that little girl we tried to make give head last year? I'm going to go back and get her and her little brother this time. And you know what? Her little brother is 7 now. We can use him because the 14-year-old girl is not cooperative. Let's go get somebody that's even younger. Tiffany Haddish, this was you. You told Aries Spears that you had the kids for him. You knew that there was a woman in L.A. struggling. I don't know where they was living at, but you knew there was a woman out there struggling that had 2 kids, and she was just looking for a way out, and she would trust you to take her kids to go make a sizzle reel for Nickelodeon, because that's what you told them you was going to do.